Thank you. Cameroon is trying to get online, but they're having such a difficult time today. So sorry if I keep trying to look down. I'm trying to see if I could connect my computer to WhatsApp and let them hear through a voice on WhatsApp, but not very technical. So right, let's, without further ado, let's bring in Anna Paula. Anna Paula has been working with IC4 for a while. She is extremely intelligent, like everybody here, and she has some ideas post COVID-19 that she would like to share with us. She talked eloquently about the issues yesterday, and since she had already prepared this, we thought it would be a great idea to hear from another perspective that is not Africa, but Brazil, to hear what she's thinking and how she's, as a student of technology and math and physics and all of this scientific stuff, how is she looking at this problem? So Ana Paula has a translator, Luis, and Luis is going to translate for her. Thank you, Luis, for translating.
My pleasure.
Primeiramente, muito obrigada. Me sinto imensamente feliz de estar aqui compartilhando com vocês algumas ansiedades e preocupações que todos nós temos com a educação.
So firstly, thank you so much for everybody being here. And it's an absolute pleasure being able to share some solutions and some of the challenges that we've been going through.
Eu só quero antecipar que, como física, na verdade, eu vim trazer mais questionamentos do que apontar algumas soluções.
But being a physicist, I have more questions than I do have solutions.
Eu penso que é um momento muito importante, todos nós sabemos, para todo o planeta. Nós temos um grande número de alunos que estão completamente no ensino online ou o ensino híbrido, né, com parte online, parte na escola. É uma questão que o mundo inteiro está vivendo e não sabemos por quanto tempo devido ao COVID.
So yeah, we're completely aware that some students are doing online virtual learning and some students are doing a hybrid or a combination of multiple kinds of learning. And it's a challenge that we must face and solve together.
Mas o que me preocupa são dois pilares que eu acredito que são similares, problemas na África e no Brasil, que é a acessibilidade dos alunos com equipamentos de internet em casa, e um outro pilar que é a metodologia.
And the two main aspects that you also mentioned yesterday would be that of the accessibility, in the case which some students don't have access to internet in their homes, and the methodology, where the professors aren't really changing their style of teaching to accommodate online learning.
Mas a gente precisa compreender também que as pessoas estão mudando. E quem são esses novos alunos também pós-Covid? Quem são os professores pós-Covid? Né? Como que vai estar a nossa sociedade pós-Covid?
We must also acknowledge the fact that things are changing, and we must understand who these people are going to be post-COVID. How are the students going to change, and how are these professors going to change after COVID ends?
Essa é uma análise muito pessoal que cada ser humano vai ter precisa, né, tá fazendo no seu dia a dia.
It's going to be a very personal analysis that everyone is going to have to do individually on a day-to-day basis.
Pode seguir o slide.
We can go on to the next slide.
Aqui eu aponto alguns fatores que podem influenciar na vida tanto dos alunos quanto dos professores do pós-Covid.
So here are just a few of the factors that can influence the lives of the students and teachers post-COVID.
Vou compartilhar com vocês uma experiência que eu tive há poucos dias. Uma aluna minha, ela de 5 anos, a mãe levou ao médico porque ela estava com toda a mãozinha cheia de bolhas, a mão
Mm.
inteira. E o
So,
médico... Tá,
Ana Paula would like to share a story that happened to her personally. She had a student where the student's mother took her to the doctor because her hands were filled with like bubbles and blisters.
E o médico explicou que aquelas bolhas eram de estresse por ficar trancada em casa.
And the doctor explained to the girl that the blisters and the bubbles were a result of stress, a high amount of stress as a result of staying at home by herself.
Então, como serão esses alunos, né? A gente está percebendo que economicamente muitas famílias têm perdido emprego, têm diminuído os salários e todas essas crianças elas estão sentindo e vivenciando isso. Alguns com menos, outros mais afetados.
So a lot of the students are realizing the pressure that COVID is also bringing upon the parents. A lot of parents are undergoing reductions in salaries and loss of jobs, so they're feeling an immense kind of pressure as well.
E tudo isso influencia no desenvolvimento cognitivo desses alunos.
And these factors also negatively influence the cognitive development of these students.
A psicologia cognitiva, ela aponta para uma pluralidade e multiplicidade que compõe o sistema cognitivo humano. Então, a gente precisa compreender que todos esses fatores, eles vão influenciar no sistema cognitivo de como os alunos irão aprender a partir de agora.
We must also understand that in cognitive psychology, these external factors will highly influence, whether positively or negatively, the development of these students.
Então, eu trago esses pensamentos que nós precisamos compreender que não é somente o fato do aluno ter o acesso, mas ele precisa ter o acesso ao computador e nós precisamos também compreender de uma forma muito completa como será o processo de ensino.
So not only must we be worried about and understand the students' accessibility to online learning, but we must also be worried about how their online learning experience is going to be like and create an environment that will suit them best.
Porque o contrário, disciplinas como a física, a química, a biologia, a matemática, principalmente, elas irão se distanciar mais ainda dos alunos.
Because in classes and topics such as chemistry, biology, and physics, the students will feel even more distance and have much more difficult challenges because of the nature of these hard subjects.
A física, a matemática, elas exigem um grau de abstração muito grande. E com o uso do computador, esse grau de abstração ele aumenta mais ainda esse distanciamento. Então, precisamos pensar em metodologias que revertam isso.
Yeah. So topics such as physics, chemistry, and math are already extremely abstract and difficult for many students to comprehend. And adding in the factor of online learning using a screen enhances that degree of difficulty and abstractiveness even more.
Pode seguir adiante o slide. Por isso que projeto como o IC4 é encantador.
That's why a project such as IC4 is an amazing blessing.
Porque o aluno ele está online, eu acredito nesse formato, o aluno está online, mas ao mesmo tempo existe uma conexão com a vida real, ele produz também no real.
Because not only is the student online, but he also has a realistic connection with other students.
Pierre Levy, ele aponta nessa construção do conhecimento e que ela se dá de uma forma em que acontece uma ligação entre os neurônios, os módulos cognitivos, as instituições de ensino, a linguagem, a escrita, os computadores. Então, isso tudo precisa estar conectado, não somente um único viés.
So we must integrate sustainability, technology, and all these products into the students so that to offer them a way that they can best understand each other online.
Uma possibilidade são kits para os alunos terem em casa também, de baixo custo, como o Arduino, Raspberry Pi, kits que eles possam desenvolver experimentos em casa também para sair da abstração e vir para o concreto.
So one way for us to combat the abstract nature of these classes and online virtual learning would be to provide kits such as Arduinos so that they can work by themselves as well and develop the practical skills as well.
Eu vou pedir para o Arquimedes falar também, só rapidamente, para a gente encerrar, sobre o laboratório de acesso remoto, que também é algo que poderia ser desenvolvido.
So now Paula would like to pass it over to Archimedes to talk about the remote laboratory that can be accessed as well.
Luiz, também vou contar com a sua tradução.
Tá bom.
Eu penso, primeiro quero agradecer a oportunidade de estarmos todos reunidos.
So first, the Archimedes would like to thank everybody for being here.
De poder falar para vocês sobre algumas ideias que eu acredito que podem contribuir de alguma forma.
And I'd like to talk about a few ideas that I know will be able to contribute in some way.
Seguindo a linha do conectivismo do professor Siemens,
following the train of thought of connectivity that Dr. Simmons proposed.
Nós podemos pensar que na atual maneira de se formar o conhecimento,
we know that the current way of developing knowledge
está associado a um conhecimento que pode estar nos objetos, nos artefatos, além do conhecimento na mente.
Is ingrained in objects and artifacts and not only in our minds.
Dessa forma, eu penso que o momento atual nos permitiria atacar o problema do aprendizado em duas mãos, talvez.
And I believe we can attack this challenge of online learning in two ways.
Uma de alta complexidade e uma de baixa complexidade.
So one of high complexity and one of low complexity.
Para baixa complexidade, penso que as atividades de observação da natureza e avaliação de dispositivos e artefatos construídos pelo próprio aprendiz.
So with low complexity, I believe that observing nature is an example of this.
Mas os sistemas de alta complexidade, como os laboratórios de acesso remoto,
but in the systems of high complexity, access to remote laboratories,
onde através de um acesso mediado pela internet,
using access that would be mediated through the internet,
é possível controlar um experimento real.
It would be possible to control an online, a realistic experiment,
realizando as atividades que localmente não estariam disponíveis.
and that would realize activities that aren't available locally.
Mas que todas essas atividades estejam sempre associadas à realidade do estudante.
That all these activities would be associated with the reality of the students.
E permitindo que esse estudante possa questionar e inovar onde ele está.
And this would allow the student to question and innovate where he is.
Porque um exemplo, quando eu penso no grande problema que vivemos da pandemia,
And an example from the difficulties that we're living through COVID-19
foram os trabalhos de Isaac Newton,
were the accomplishments of Isaac Newton,
que conseguiu trabalhar no desenvolvimento das leis da mecânica,
where he was able to work on the development of the laws of mechanics,
durante uma pandemia.
also during a pandemic.
Dessa forma, acredito que nós podemos utilizar talvez esse momento de tristeza e desafiador para, através de projetos de integração, darmos o passo seguinte e habilitarmos as crianças para a preparação de um futuro grandioso.
So I believe we can use this time of difficulty and full of challenges to unite and reintegrate students with one another.
Muito obrigado. Acho que essa era o que eu podia contribuir agora. Podemos depois conversar mais.
So thank you very much, and this is all I have to contribute for now, and we can talk more later.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It would be nice to just hear more of these, because this is, yes. These are the type of solutions that we need. It's really unfortunate that we don't have a whole hour to just have you Archimedes just share all this brilliant stuff. But hopefully we'll have more time down the road to hear some of the solutions. We were going to have a video of how teachers can create content on their own. But since we're running short of time, we just want to say to Julia and Dante, thank you so much for creating this video and the instructions for the teachers. What we're going to do is we're going to add it to the list of resources when we send it out, so that the teachers have this and can just go through it, watch the video, follow the steps that they have created. They did a wonderful job, and I wanted to make sure that they are acknowledged for that. That said, I will pass it over to Jennifer to give us instruction as to moving on to the next step.
Great.
Jennifer?
So, yes, thank you. So we wanted to have a time of you hearing from one another, and I think that was a perfect setup from
Archimedes?
Archimedes, yes. And so, especially around the area of collaboration, because I think what we've seen with IC4 is it's a collaborative content. And so we wanted you to take time. Ruth is going to divide you into breakout sessions. We're going to take a few moments and talk together about where are you seeing collaboration in remote learning within your context. So where are you seeing that in your country? And then if you could dream of a collaborative approach, even maybe based on some of what you've heard, what would that be? What would that look like? So we will put, Ruth will put these in a chat too to the breakout rooms. I believe she can do that. And are you ready to move them into breakout rooms?
COVID-19 era. We can use it. From my side, this is the best time for us to apply or take advantage of remote learning. I was just starting you off, so ideas from members so that we can kickstart it as fast as possible.
I could also maybe share that maybe we can bring teachers on board because learning involves learners and teachers. Like right now at Semastea, we are really engaging teachers because we have been training face-to-face. But due to COVID-19, we have come up with online training now. And we are using the Google Classroom, and we have converted our module that we use for training them physically into an online module that we are now engaging them with. This course will run for about 8 weeks, and it's continuous. So it's picking up very well. But of course, there are challenges. Thank you. So involving teachers would be part of it.
We just wanted to hear from you if there is one takeaway or one idea that came out of your breakout rooms that someone from your group might share for a moment. Just in terms of the rest of our time, we'd like to hear those, again, like one takeaway. And then we are going to have Ollie White from Liberia share for a minute on couple minutes on teaching training together as another resource opportunity for you. Again, we are compiling all of these resources into one document that we will share with you. And then we will close our time. I don't think we'll have time for a second breakout, but we did, so that'll be our remaining 15 minutes. So can maybe group one share one takeaway? Ruth, you might know who was in the groups, I'm not sure.
I don't think she does.
I was going to say, who's group one?
Who is group one?
Or somebody can just go.
Group one had two representatives from Kenya. It was John and Edwin, and then Gilbert from Rwanda and Elizabeth from Namibia. And a lot of the conversation talked about also the engagement with teachers and how to do training with teachers. And so I'd invite anybody from that group if you want to comment more about that.
I think very shortly what I mentioned is that in Kenya, we are quite engaging teachers as Semastea. And since we used to train teachers on a face-to-face, that is teachers within the 47 counties, we have mounted an online training such that all these teachers are again targeted, but we are using Google Classroom. Initially, we started this 4 weeks ago, but it is picking up very well. Initially, there were challenges of internet connectivity, loading up the assignments and all stuff. We were also learning about the Google Classroom, navigating, exploring. So we are working collaboratively together with them. And so far, they have really, really appreciated that they have really well been engaged, and they have also learned a lot of ICT techniques that they have never imagined they would learn during this COVID time. So maybe that's what I would say. We give them some funds. We have also provided them with routers at the county levels through the ministry officials, and they're appreciating that. They were complaining of bundles. We are giving them 3,000 shillings for, I think, 4 weeks. Then we've added them another 3,000 Kenya shillings to be able to buy airtime so that they are able to continuously be in the Google Classroom. Thank you.
The group two?
Who's group two?
I think maybe our group was with Hillary and Sung and let's see, I forgot who else was in our group.
In group two. Yeah, I was in.
I mean, the unforgettable Mary in group two. And who else from
we
Kenya?
had. Oh no, there's someone from Cameroon.
Oh, and from Archimedes. Hillary from Cameroon.
Yes.
And Archimedes shared the tool that he also lifted here, Firefox, and is a great tool for running physics experiments and simulations. over WhatsApp. And Hillary mentioned that another tool, I forgot the name of it, Hillary, maybe you can mention it, that we would like to experiment to see if Firefox, the tool that Archimedes explained, is usable. Go ahead without mute, Hillary.
Ayoba. Ayoba is for a mobile application. Has the same function with WhatsApp. But the difference is that WhatsApp uses internet connection, while Ayoba just need the available signal, mobile signal. Yeah, that's the link.
So Masaba from Kenya, who is also in our group, put into the link ioba.me as an alternate to using WhatsApp. We're not quite sure whether that will work with that particular application, but the takeaway from Archimedes was a very nice physics experiment device that kids can use and share from different places. So that's our group, Jennifer.
Thank you. Is there another group? Group 3?
Is that our group, Ty? Would you like our group to go? Ty, go ahead. Please share your wonderful thoughts.
Well, you all feel as leader. I thought you would do that, but since you're giving me the honors, I'll take it. I just thought that wherever our local communities are, we would identify those for-profit entities, again, underscoring for-profit, who we would make the case that it's in their best interest, because if they don't develop the young people in their communities, who are going to be the folks sitting in the seats to run those companies, whether they be corporations, small companies, or even nonprofits. So we would make the case that by making certain investments, we would quantify those investments and show them, like, per person the investment they're making. It would be longitudinal. We would see the development, and ultimately they would have first dibs, if you will, on having internships for those students through college, and then upon graduation, gainful employment. And it's something I've done for many years professionally, so it's not just a figment of my imagination. When you invest in your community, they call it corporate citizenship, and it's almost incumbent upon corporations and companies to do that at this time, if no other time.
Amen. I feel like that needed an amen. Group 4.
I think Anne, Amaka, and I might have been group 4. We were talking a lot about equality and being able to reach students in remote areas who might not have the technology. If either Anne or Amaka wanted to kind of elaborate on what they were talking about.
Anne, would you like to share?
Okay, hello?
Yes.
All right, so myself and Amaka and Julia were actually talking about the faith of the children in remote area, and then I centered on Nigeria. Like, I gave myself, for example, I'm an LES practitioner, and then I work in the city, but I'm thinking about the children in the remote area that they don't have access to the internet or WhatsApp. They don't have phones. Their parents don't have phones. But we're advocating for inclusive learning. We're advocating that everybody should be on the same page globally. So I'm playing my own part. Like, I go down there to the remote village. I get a hall, and I get like maybe 30 chairs, because I'm also considering the pandemic, social distancing, and just make like maybe 30 children come and sit down maybe for like 2 hours. I engage them using social distancing. I record myself. I do a video of a subject or an activity or something and they watch via the screen, because the truth is, over there in the remote villages, the internet is not strong. It's not even coming on. But these children have to learn. They have to be equipped. So how can teachers come together? Yes, we are advocating that the government should help us, the government should help us, but we can just go out of our own way, the little way we can, to make a difference in the life of those children. We've played our part as humans and, help them. But another challenge is also electricity. Amaka was saying something like most of these better amenities are accessible and affordable in the big cities, but it's not accessible in the remote areas, in the villages. So we need to come down to those villages, we need to come down to the remote area so that it can be an inclusive and equal learning for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Group 5, did you have any additional comments before we hear from Ali?
So our group had Louise and Anna and I think Dorcas, who were about 5. But I think something that stood out is something that Anna shared. I don't know if she's willing to share it again. She's given a kit to her students that's enabling them to be able to grasp what she's teaching while at home, and I think she could be able to throw more light much better. So Anna, please.
Ana, quer falar sobre os kits?
Pode ser, mas eu queria falar antes, Luiz, que na conversa do meu grupo, o quanto eu me senti pequena perto das experiências que elas apresentaram.
Ana Paula is saying how she felt kind of belittled and insignificant compared to the experiences that the other members had.
É algo que me apertou o peito mesmo.
It's something that made her think a lot.
Eu exemplifiquei para elas dos usos dos kits, né? Que os alunos eles têm, cada aluno tem um kit para poder desenvolver essas atividades e nós poderíamos pensar em kits de mais baixo custo ainda e também na formação de professores. Eu me proponho a isso.
So with Ana Paula's students, they've provided kits such as Arduinos and other low-cost kits that are accessible and can easily be purchased by the students. And that really facilitates the practical side of the learning as well as the online virtual part of it.
E eu queria só fazer uma pergunta que não é do grupo, mas para o Arquimedes. Essa dificuldade, Sr. Arquimedes poderia falar que essa dificuldade não daria para resolver, por exemplo, em zonas rurais, com intranet? É que, Luiz, eu quando eu não consigo resolver, aí eu peço para o marido ajudar, sabe? Mas se você pode fazer a tradução.
Seria possível. Depende, Paulo. Essa questão, talvez seria possível criar uma rede de sistemas de repetidores. Mas teria que ver quais são as distâncias envolvidas.
Isso seria em termos do quê? De expandir a internet?
De expandir a estrutura de rede. A Ana Paula está falando isso, desculpa, só para contextualizar, é porque eu estou trabalhando com expansão de Wi-Fi para a região agrícola brasileira.
Acho que é melhor o Luiz traduzir.
So Archimedes also works with a communications company where he focuses on installing Wi-Fi and internet. And he's saying that in Brazil, in their region, it's possible to install extra routers, internet routers in the city and in different regions to expand the online accessibility of internet for other people.
É que no Brasil nós estamos usando um sistema para rastreio de gado, para melhoria do gado de corte. Então, as fazendas estão instalando sistemas de longo alcance de Wi-Fi.
Entendi. So in Brazil, in the farms in Brazil, they use high technology networks to track the the cows, the cattle in Brazil, and they can use, Archimedes says they can use the similar technology to expand the Wi-Fi into the city as well.
Aí a gente podia pensar, é questão de ver mapa, né? Ver tamanho, ver distância, porque às vezes o custo de instalação de um equipamento de repetição sai mais barato no longo prazo do que consumir a rede de dados, né?
So all we have to do is check the distances between in the cities and just look at the maps, because sometimes it's cheaper to just install extra routers instead of constructing an entire different database and server for Wi-Fi.
Thank you. Obrigada, Luis.
Thank you so much. There is so much and we need like more time, but I just wanted to give, I hope you are finding this fruitful just even to hear from one another, because I know just the enterprise that is existent in this room alone is very encouraging and inspiring. One enterprise I want to just mention, if Ali, I'm going to put the website in the link. Ali, if you can talk about this teaching training together. And then Dr. Hamilton is going to kind of close this out with just some ideas on funding. And I think we would love to try and meet again. So we will just share about that. But if you can stay for a few minutes, please do. Ali, go ahead.
Right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So I'm an education specialist by profession, but I've been engaged in teacher training for over 12 years now. And my emphasis has been on evidence-based reading education for teachers in the lower classes. And so we have trained more than 700 trained in 700 public schools, more than 2,000 teachers. And that training, the training that we provided was very informative. It helped us to see how the gaps that teachers got as a result of the quality of training they themselves received. So as a result of that, we had to now develop scripted lessons to help teachers provide better instruction in the classroom. So even though the scripted lessons that we provided over the past 12 years have served their purpose, however, we had several challenges with the scripted lessons. One, it was time consuming. And so because it was time consuming, we could only focus on one or two subjects or content and not the entire thing. And teachers had gaps. They were not prepared properly to provide instruction, to deliver instruction in the classroom so that students could learn properly and get the kind of outcome that we're expecting. So the first challenge we experienced was it was very time consuming developing the scripted lessons. So the next thing was bulky and very restrictive. So teachers who wanted to be creative couldn't be creative, and they were limited because it was kind of very restrictive. Finally, it was not sustainable. We found that the scripted lesson was not very sustainable, and you couldn't continue just because of the amount of time required in developing scripted lessons. So in 2019, I met Beth with this very transformational transformation. So it's one thing when they have the content, and another problem if they had another thing if they had method. So our teachers had content, but methods they didn't have. So with the program, with teaching training together, it provided the methodology to be able to help teachers actually deliver effectively their content in the classroom. And so I'm just going to share with you some of the things that you learn when you're using TTT. So the first thing is we found that in TTT sets the stage that there are three major keys for student achievement, that will unlock student achievement. One of them is the culture, the school culture. And the second one is the quality of the teacher. And the third is the school leaders. So under TTT, the teachers and the school leaders, they learn together. The entire school learns together. Then they build a community of collaborations among the school leaders and also with other schools. So it's not just building collaboration among school leaders and teachers at school, but also collaborating with other schools. We find that most of the time in schools, people, they don't trust their leaders. So they are not safe to actually express their vulnerabilities. So if a teacher had a problem, she won't be able to express a vulnerability because the culture of the school does not provide that opportunity to do so. So with TTT provides the methods to be able to help you do that. So one of it is helping you develop a culture of improvement in your school, improving your school culture. There's the other thing that under TTT the teachers and the school leader will learn is teachers and school leaders learn about the role they play in helping students move from their actual ability to their potential ability through the gradual release of responsibility. I know most of you already are aware of that. And they learn to differentiate instruction so they can identify multiple intelligences in the classroom through this, and then they learn to differentiate instructions in the classroom. So teachers and school leaders also learn to lead by modeling under TTT. They'll also learn to conduct assessment using Bloom's taxonomy of the different levels of thinking. So they apply Bloom's taxonomy levels of thinking to how they ask questions and to also how they develop learning objectives. So with COVID-19, we can see that there's a way in which we could probably think about using TTT to be able to reach a lot of people using the methods of TTT. We have been able to, what we have seen with TTT, we have been able to crack the code for student achievement because we have been able to now merge content with methodology. And this is what TTT provides. So it's not going to change your content, but it provides you the methods through which you can actually deliver effectively in the classroom. And your teachers and your school leaders are together, learning together, and they learn to improve their culture together. They learn to do a system of review of what's going well in the schools and what's not going well, and develop plans to be able to improve that. So in a nutshell, that's what TTT is about. And you have the link. If you have any questions about TTT now, we can actually address that.
Thank you so much, Ali. And it's really exciting because they've had great success in Haiti, and just in the last year have started, because of Ali, moving into Liberia. And Flavia is here too, and I just found out she's one of your scholarship recipients. And so
from TTT,
yeah, I'll put the link back in. And so Flavia is there as well from Uganda, and so we are just love to see these connections. I realize we're 10 minutes past time, so I want to, no, there's such good stuff. So Dr. Hamilton, would you like to make a comment before Ruth closes us?
Sure, and thank you, Ali. It was great. And there have just been so many ideas that have circulated over the last couple of days. One thing that we've done quite a bit with is try to go out and get funding for projects. And for those of you with whom we've worked, our usual source has been either the National Science Foundation, or in the case of working with Namibia, the US State Department. And it's been the case that some of our efforts we've tried to get funding from a number of corporations, including from Microsoft and foundations. But I wonder if, after listening to things for the last couple of days, it wouldn't make sense to have maybe more fragmented attempts to get smaller amounts of funding that individual leaders can use to build projects, to take advantage of some of these ideas, to replicate some ideas, or for example, to implement TTT in some other venue. So I think that that would be, Ruth and Jennifer, a path that maybe we can create some small narratives that people can just up and use as they wish for proposals that they write, and then think about other ways that we can maybe try to do some centralized proposals. But things like IC4, where there's a fair amount of centralization, might not be as easy or readily accessible when you have to connect to a big whole project. But either way, we want the flexibility of seeking resources from individual government ministries, foundations, or corporations, and doing it at any level, whether for individual sites or for a larger collective. I hope that makes sense. We'll include that in the follow-up, but I think it would be great for people to band together and mobilize resources. That's all.
Jennifer, did you want to say something before we wrap up?
It's up to you, Ruth.
Okay, it's up to me. But I'm really excited. You saying that, Dr. Hamilton, just makes my heart jump from inside out, because it's nice to see that everybody came out, and we all came out because we want information. We want to do better. We want to prepare a better future for the children. So just to know that, see, I'm crying. Just to know that that here, those of us that are over here that have a little bit better are willing to support in whatever way we can. It's heartwarming and touching. And whatever we prepare and whatever instructions that we give, we hope that our governments in sub-Saharan Africa or other low-income countries will be able to take it seriously and really look into this problem. There are over 12 million kids that are running around Africa from the ages of 12 through 18-year-olds that are not going to school. We cannot let that continue to happen. We need to do things like this to move us from that rut that we've been in year after year, generation after generation, to the next generation. We have to envision a new future. And I'm so happy that today 30 of you showed up to make sure that together we envision this new future. And if it is grant writing and whatever resources that we have, we're hoping that we can have more of these meetings, whether it's every 3 months, whether it's every 6 months, whether it's every year. We're hoping that we can have a lot more and keep these conversations going and keep bringing in all these great resources that you're seeing that we already possess to help each other move forward. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing willingly and for sharing generously. Knowledge is such a gift. And if we don't share knowledge, it's easy to be selfish with knowledge, but I'm happy that we are willing to share knowledge. So let's continue to share. Any resources you have, send it to us. We'll put it together and send it out. On that note, I think that we should just say thank you and write us, tell us what you think, tell us how often you want to meet. We might be able to send out a survey to just ask a few more questions. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you. Asante sana, Morakose chane. Thank you.
All right, until next time.
Thank you, Archimedes, for your comment.
Oh,
okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Hoot.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you so much
you.
for translating.
My pleasure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Excellent interaction. Joy, totally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Ruth.
Bye-bye, John.
Thanks for the nice facilitation.
Oh yeah, Jennifer did great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Jennifer. Bye, Jennifer.
Bye. Bye.
Mm-hmm.